Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we skip the intro and get straight into the topic. We just recently, I don't know when I will post this video, but we got recently a trailer, and this time I actually can do an analysis without all the footage corrupting. Don't talk. Cue the creepy background music and let's get right into it. So the first shot we see is a clip from the elevator, and important to note is that we don't see a single sentinel or the body of V. Like, it's probably just some cinematic shots that will not be in the actual episode, but still interesting to note here is that we see a trail of oil on the floor. I don't remember if this is in the actual episode, but I got no time to look it up right now. And also on the left you see a blue glow coming from the wall. I have no idea what it is. It's some form of blue screen. I don't think it's important. The next shot is a mine shaft. I have tried looking for some symbols or bones in the wall. You see why it's important later. But I couldn't find anything. But next we see a fireplace next to a desk where a PC is standing on. And just to mention it right here, what kind of Poppy Playtime facility is this place? Like, we have a library on top, then a mine shaft in here, some form of living place like the mansion, and even a church later on. Like, everything is built under this structure. I don't know what this is. Like, maybe a factory of some kind. I don't know. If this isn't cultist behavior, I don't know what to say. And in the background is a picture with the word help written on it. I tried everything to make it clearer what is on the picture, but I don't know, maybe some form of human twins or something. Up next we see one of the most interesting shots from the entire trailer. We are again back in the mine shaft, but this time we see a bunch of lockers, which we already have seen in the last trailer. But before I get to the reason why it's so important, first we can see the locker of Eva, which under there stands "Do not disturb." I tried looking closer to it, and of course it could be disturbed, but there's an R and an S down there, so I don't know. Right next to it there's a locker with no text under it, but a name. I can only make out 3 letters, are T, R, and RS. But up next to that there is again a locker that I can recognize, but it's the last locker has another frame under it, which just let me guess that this is the locker of Nori, because she had a do not disturb sign under it, which could probably mean that this one is from Khan and maybe this one is from the father of Dol. I don't know. But based on the fact that we saw the same location was a mine shaft earlier, we can conclude that the worker drones were down there as miners to mine something out. And my theory is that the church that is down there isn't built by the humans, but was dug up by them for something. Maybe I got more into detail into my theory about this topic in another video. The next 2 frames we already saw before. There are some form of hole which is going to be really important, because 2 things happen there. First, N is getting pulled in there at some point, probably by Uzi as it seems. And most important, this goddamn crucifix was standing there at some point. And because you can hear in the trailer a heartbeat throughout this section, my interpretation is that this is some form of heart of this nest or something, because we can see the flesh and bones of dead humans all over the walls. So maybe it's indicating the source where it come from, which probably will be the church. And speaking about the devil, the next frame seems to be right outside the church, where we see those emblems which are on the necklaces of Uzi and Nori, which are illuminated by torchlight. And a very confusing thing is, right now we should be way down deep in the planet. Then why is there rain in those 2 shots? Like, in the next shot we can see the church. There's not much to talk about for the church. It's a church. But if you see in the torchlight and in the background, there is rain down there, but we're deep in a cave. So this is interesting. The next thing I want to talk is just very shortly on screen for a few nanoseconds. But look at my live reaction to when I first found this out. Let's go! I called it! We see a warning sign with the text not to be over dramatic, but the core is collapsing, which of course is glitch humor, but this actually proves one of my theories I made a long time ago in my bingo card, that Sin needs to go down to the core of the planet to enact whatever she wants to do. Originally I thought just to spawn another black hole, but maybe it has to do something with the church. Oh my god, I just realized maybe the planet's core is the church, and that's why there's also rain, so kinda like Hollow Earth style. The next few images have not much detail in them. We just see a slow zoom to watch something, but I get to this in a moment. We are in the church right now. We can actually see some technological equipment right there, so that supports my theory that this was already built and the humans just discovered it and brought their equipment down there. And originally I thought that we will get a dramatic scene where the core starts to collapse, but apparently there are three possibilities. Either the core has a very slow collapse and takes some time or whatever, or maybe the warning on the screen is something different or false alarm, which I don't think. Or the third thing it could be is that the core actually already has collapsed, because this could be the event that wiped out the humans on the planet. By the way, I'm doing this right now live, so that means I have no script and haven't thought about it much. This is just me dropping live theories without any evidence or something, just something that comes to my head. Holy moly, we are already 6 minutes in and I haven't even talked about the part with the flashing images. Up next we can see a hole which seems to be made out of rib cages and more human remains, which I have to say, although the other hole where the crucifix was standing had also some human remains, this is a lot more ribs than back there. And also, from this point on, the entire trailer takes a reddish color theme. I don't know if this will actually be in the episode but I think so. That we will get a 50-50 episode, 50% plays in the present and the other 50% plays in the past. And all the red clips are from Doll's POV, or better to say that Doll gives them the memories, kinda like in episode 3. But we get to that in a moment when I analyze the flashing images, which I haven't seen so far. This right now is my live reaction. I just have seen some frames that YouTubers posted, but I haven't watched a single breakdown of the trailer. So everything I will say from this point on is my first live reaction to the pictures. So the first image is illuminated by the lightning, and we see the church, which originally I thought we are outside now because of the clouds. But if you look at the left corner over there, you can still see some stalagmites hanging from the cave top. But let's focus our attention on this circle of clouds. I don't know if I'm interpreting this right. This could just be the cave entrance, but this also could be maybe a portal. Like, it's definitely not just normal clouds, there's definitely something in it, but I can't recognize quite what. Up next we can see some tentacles reaching out of a hole. I compared the tentacles to the one from episode 5, and they're almost the same. And I know it's the hole from earlier because of this one. Up next we have the thumbnail for the video. Just kidding, but actually if you look close you can see some white silhouette coming behind N, which could either be Tessa or another human, because in the next shot we see a bunch of humans again. But let me first point out that N in this moment is very shocked. So I don't know if he's shocked because he saw something or he heard something from someone. I don't know. And this image is very interesting because we can see a lot of things. Like, first I want to point out, we see a human with a gas mask, which is pretty normal, but he also wears a cowboy hat. So I don't know how this is going to be important, but I think it will be. Next we can see also the symbols all over the walls, which I think don't come from the humans, because we can also see how some of the humans are placing their equipment right now, but it does not seem like they had time to put those icons over there. And the last thing I want to mention, there's a human right next to some form of altar, and I think he's doing some form of ritual or tries to investigate this altar. Next up we can see a picture of Uzi with the absolute silver symbol on her face again. Probably, like I mentioned many times before, she will have a point where she loses control briefly, and this might be the scene. But actually something I want to point out, is it just me or does this image feel flipped, like Uzi is upside down? I don't know. But we can also see some things in the background, but it's too blurry to make anything out. But the next picture is very interesting, that's why I come back to the altar. We see the same room where this altar would be, but in the middle of it, I don't even know how to describe this. I'm just going to say what I see. There's a worker drone, I think, who is impaled by multiple spikes exactly in the center where this altar would be. But we have something in front of the camera which seems to be important, but I can't figure out what this is supposed to be. Like, it either could be hands from N or Uzi covering her face, or like it also could maybe be plushies from Tessa's space shuttle. I don't know. Next picture is a frame of Tessa talking to Uzi, which looks like Tessa is mocking Uzi in this scene. And just please, we don't need another J to bully N or Uzi, we had enough of those. Next frame I haven't seen as well, but actually the first thing I noticed between Uzi probably just being traumatized at what she saw on the screen was that
a freaking ninja star
on the floor. I really like that reference, but probably another way to try. I say my point at the end of the video to that. So I keep it quick because I'm tired and the video goes on for a long time now. In this frame we see the crucifix being held up by the absolute server and a bunch of which seem like human hands trying to reach it. Important to note though is that this is a recording which is currently paused, which maybe be the recording which Uzi saw right there. And also another thing that we add to the detail list is the 02 in the background, because we know the number of Uzi's mom was 02. Okay, this actually brightens my mood a bit. I was trying really long to get this image because it's very short on screen, and actually this makes it a bit better right now. So, and this is a frame that actually makes me happy because I have already told a lot of people in comment section that my theory is that we see from Doll's POV some of the red images, but they say we see Tessa and N in the red, but I always tell them this frame we already saw it, and we saw it in the non-red color, which means that not every single scene we see in this trailer will be actually that red in the episode. But yes, we already seen this scene. Uzi is holding the crucifix again. Speaking of that, I know absolute server regeneration and stuff like that, but it's interesting to note that Uzi regenerated her hand. Another one for the detail list. We see another shot from the church, which isn't anything special. This red stripe is just the door opening and light coming in. Next up, we see a card from Nori, which we also saw on Eve. Nothing special there. We can see the symbol on top there again. And what seems to be light or oil, but could be anything because of the red light. The next frame is actually cooking. We see a bunch of objects starting to fly into the air. Important to notice, based on the objects and on the snow, that this will happen outside in the cold wasteland that is Copper 9, which is actually interesting. My theory was originally that those towers were built to increase the signal of Sin so that she can spawn a black hole, which will suck up the planet, and this frame seems to indicate something similar. Maybe it could also have something to do with the clouds earlier that seemed like a portal. And now we come to my favorite frame. We see N with the disassembly eyes and smiling menacingly. That can mean two things. Either we're going to get a flashback where N unalives Nori and Nori will say, "Just kidding, I wasn't actually." Or we see finally, since 6 episodes, we finally will see N serious again. This is so exciting to me. Next frame, you can see exactly as much as I can, but I think this is somewhere in the mineshaft, and over there there's back a skull from that symbol thing. Up next we see a scene that might be a flashback from that worker I said wears a cowboy hat. Doesn't seem anymore like a cowboy hat, but maybe accidentally summoned the absolute solver and created one of those things, as we know, because this is a hand that absolute solver uses or generates if it's mad. Interesting to note though that in this frame he doesn't seem to be startled or frightened or anything, maybe a willing sacrifice of some kind. The next scene is Uzi covering up her eye, and her hand is full of oil, so two possibilities: either she got hurt in the eye, or she activated the absolute solver and it destroyed her screen and she covers it in pain. The last picture is actually a bit interesting. You can see Doll there, and if you try to recognize some things, you can see the knife Doll likes to use and what seems to be a disassembly sword, and also another sharp sword type of object, which I assume would be Tessa's sword, but I'm not sure about that. But in the background we can see what I'm guessing is the window of the church, and because this is high up, you can see those few pixels down there. Looks like a torn up wing, and currently we are waiting to see a monster form of Doll like Uzi had one. So maybe this could be part of the wings and we have a air fight. But this is a really big stretch. But at last we see the hole again, and Then we get the logo of Melodons and the release date, blah blah blah. But this finishes off this really long video. I actually noticed 2 more details that I'm going to put at the end real quick. First, this scene, you can actually see that a flashlight is going around the mines. And the second scene is the scene again where we can see the human just standing in front of this monster. And the monster is kinda glitching. This is the effect if disassembly drones burn in the sunlight, and this means this is why the guy isn't moving, because he looks at the monster that isn't moving or is burning away, if you know what I mean. Anyways, back to the outro. You can probably hear my voice that I'm really tired. I'm sorry that this video is not very good edited or anything, but I wanted to release this quick, and the next video will be a lot more higher quality than this, trust me. As a little fun fact, 1 minute of video takes me around about 30 minutes to make without scripting or thinking what I'm going to put as images and stuff like that. And normally I have no problems with that, but because I put this out in such a short amount of time, it was really difficult for me. But sorry again that this video is not very good, but trust me, the next video I will do will have more time put into it and will be a lot better. And it also will cover the same topic as this one, just in more detail. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed, even though this video was kinda bad, kinda really bad. I hope you have a great day, and remember...
This looks neat! I wonder...